Okay.
That's problem. Okay, here we go. I'll go ahead and get the thing started, and then we'll just like we did last week, just keep adding people as they join us. So good morning and good evening to all of you. My name is Jeff, and I am normally in Olympia, Washington, which is very far away from where I am today. I am talking to you from a place called Tucson, Arizona. And if you look at your phone, you can Google it. It's spelled Tucson. And Tucson, Arizona is way south in the state of Arizona near the border of Mexico. And it's a beautiful part of the country. And I love to ride my velocipede. I love to ride my bike. So I brought my bicycle with me. I did not ride my bicycle all the way from here. So I have my bicycle with me, and I'm doing bicycle rides every day in this beautiful part of the country. So that's where I am, and let's go ahead and start the show. I'll make sure I do the share screen and see if we can get here we go. Okay, it's always a little bit of a miracle. It's here, yes.
Yes,
We're going to talk about Las Vegas. And everyone can see this, I assume? Great.
No.
Okay, before I begin, has anyone been to Las Vegas before on our call this morning? No one? Okay. So I'm safe to talk about it, okay, without having other people with knowledge of this amazing place. So Las Vegas, most people have heard of it. If you learn a little bit about the United States, most people eventually find out about this very unusual city that's in the middle of the desert in the state of Nevada. And it's a city that is very new. It's only been a city for less than 100 years. So it's nothing like Kropivnitsky or Kirovograd or Elizabethgrad and all the other names of the city that you live in. Las Vegas is a very new city, and it's huge, and it's all grown up very recently because of legal gambling. Gambling is allowed there. And so we're going to learn about that. We're going to learn about what it's like to live there. And of course, we'll see hopefully some good pictures. So Las Vegas, for those of anyone speak Spanish on the call this morning? Habla español? No, okay. No problem. So Las Vegas is a Spanish word, and it means the meadows. Yeah, the meadows, which is sort of in the desert. There's not a lot of grass or not a lot of meadows, but this is sort of what a desert meadow looks like. And this is the area that was what it looked like, very similar to this, before Las Vegas was actually started being built. And we'll do our geography lesson this morning. Here, of course, is the United States. And here is the state of Nevada. And it's really in what we call the desert southwest of the United States. It's hot, it's dry, and there's not much there. However, one of the important features, which we'll talk about in a minute, allowed Las Vegas to be built, and it allowed the city to grow to the size that it is today. Just a few more states I want to talk about. I am talking to you today from this state, Arizona. This is the state of Arizona. And then this state right here, I think many of you have heard about. This is the state of California. Right here, this is the state of Oregon, and this is the state of Washington, and this is where I live. So in the last 2 days before I arrived here yesterday, I drove from here. This is where Olympia, Washington is. I drove down the highway all the way through Las Vegas. Whoops, let me back up. Oh, too soon. Whoops. Hold on. Well, I'm going backwards. I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. Now we go. I drove down right through Las Vegas and then right down to Tucson. And Tucson is located right here in this part of the state of Arizona. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So this map again shows the United States, but it shows the sort of the topography, what we call the topography, what it's like. Is it mountainous? Is it flat? And you can see this part of the United States has huge mountains, really big mountains, and it's very hot and dry. And here, this little spot right here is where Las Vegas is. And you can see it's surrounded by mountains, and it's not far from California. And it's only a 4-hour car drive to drive in your car from Los Angeles, huge city, to Las Vegas. So many people who end up visiting Las Vegas are driving from California. So again, one more picture. Here's a good map of the state of Nevada. And you can see there's a lot of area where there are no cities. No one lives there. The state is empty because it's hot and dry. There's no water. There's nothing. It's just desert. And this area here in particular is very, very quiet, very few people. But way down here in this little corner, before you go into the state of Arizona and California, is Las Vegas. It's located right there. And some of you may have seen this sign. This is sort of the famous old sign that the city built many years ago, welcoming tourists, welcoming visitors to Las Vegas. We're going to talk about how the city got started. These are old pictures from the 1940s and the 1950s of what the original Las Vegas looked like when they started building it up and trying to attract tourists. They had lots of gambling casinos, and this is what it looked like. But you can see these are pretty old cars. These are not exactly modern, but this is what they call the Strip, S-T-R-I-P. The Strip refers to a long road that runs right through the center of the city, and they call that the Strip. And it's famous for having lots of lights and lots of activity and being open 24 hours a day, and people going to these casinos or going to the various clubs and all the entertainment. This started way back in the late 1930s, 1940s, particularly after the war was over, the Great Patriotic War, World War II. When that was over, Las Vegas really started growing. And this is what it looked like those many years ago. And now it has been transformed. This part of the old Strip, the old hotels, have all gotten together and they built a dome, a walkway dome, over what used to be the street where all those cars were. And they turned it into a big area for people, for pedestrians, as we say. And now people just walk, between the hotels. It's all lit, so you can see. It's not as dark as it was in those earlier pictures. And it's become this big, sort of a big tourist area that you can see. But this is the old Las Vegas still. These hotels are not as big. These are the historic hotels. This is the city today. And you can see this area way up here, that's the area we were just looking at. This was the original part of Las Vegas. And of course, as the years have gone by, more and more big hotels and casinos and resorts have been built. And you can see it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And the largest hotels, the ones that are absolutely enormous, the ones you've heard about, are all located in this area of the city. You can see there are big highways. You can see a golf course. There are actually several golf courses in the city for resorts and for people to entertain themselves. And then, of course, they have a big airport, and it's right next to the city. when you fly into Las Vegas on your next trip to Las Vegas, you'll be amazed. The airplane lands right next to the casinos. You can see them right out of your window. It's very close. So yeah, this is a good picture. Here's another sort of broad picture of the city, and you can see it's surrounded by mountains on all sides of the city, and it's in this valley, or the meadows, as we call it, Las Vegas. That's where the city ended up being built. So you can see this newer area, the large hotels. These are enormous buildings. The buildings are huge, just unbelievable how big everything is. Here's one that you may have heard of. It's called Luxor. And this is a hotel, if you can believe it. And this is what it looks like inside.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big casino. This area here is all sort of part of the casino area. And then the hotel rooms, go up the sides like this. It's an incredible structure. Here's what it looks like when you're on the floor looking up at the rooms. Now, here's the reason this city was able to be built. In the 1930s, many, many years ago, the United States started building these big hydroelectric dams that produce electricity. And this one is called the Hoover Dam. It was named after a President Hoover. And it was completed in 1936. And this hydroelectric dam was built very close to what is now Las Vegas today. And it produced electricity for the entire area. And of course, having electricity and having access to the water in this dam allowed them to start having a city. And of course, it started off very small, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And this is the reason Las Vegas exists today. Without this dam, there is no Las Vegas. So this is the dam we just looked at. See this dam way down here? Here is the enormous lake that was created by the dam. And the river that was stopped by this dam that created this lake and all of this water, the river is the same river that goes through the Grand Canyon. It's that same small river that created this enormous Grand Canyon that you've seen pictures of. So that little river did a lot of work over all of the years to create the canyon. And now that same water that goes through the river created that huge lake, and it allowed Las Vegas to be built. Pretty interesting. So, and this was my own picture. I visited Las Vegas many times and actually drove through Las Vegas just the other day on my way down here to Tucson. But I've also visited the Grand Canyon many times. And this was I was there, I think, about 2 years ago. And this is a picture that I took when I was there. And you can see way down at the bottom of the canyon, you can see that same Colorado River as it flows, and it eventually goes towards the dam that we saw. It keeps going out the canyon. So back to this crazy city. It's hard to believe that all this is new. You know, this wasn't here 50 years ago, just wasn't here at all. And it really is amazing to see what has happened to that city in such a short amount of time. A lot of the hotels are built on a theme, a concept, an idea. And we saw that Luxor Hotel. Here's one that's called New York, New York, on New York City. And they took many of the same icons of New York and made them smaller and built the hotel around these buildings that they created, including, of course, what we looked at last week, the Statue of Liberty. And then inside the hotel, it's like the streets of New York City. They have, they've made them look like the buildings that you see in the central part of Manhattan or in Brooklyn or in the Bronx. And this, with sidewalk cafes. But of course, all this is built around casinos too. So they have the casinos everywhere. And so these are all concepts. Here's another one. This is the largest hotel in Las Vegas. It's called the MGM Grand. MGM is a big entertainment company. Metro Goldwyn Mayer is what it stands for. But it's a huge entertainment and movie company. They make a lot of movies. If you watch, Hollywood movies, many of them are made by this company. They also have a huge hotel with gambling in Las Vegas. This hotel has more than 5,000 rooms. 5,000 rooms in one hotel. It's one of the largest hotels in the world. Here's another one called Excalibur, back to the days of knights. And these are big places, as you can see. You can see the Luxor next to it here. This is, I've stayed at most of these hotels. I've stayed at this one, and I've stayed at MGM, and I've stayed at Luxor. It's pretty amazing. What makes it much easier these days to get between the hotels is this monorail, this train system that they've built that connects the hotels. Because Las Vegas is hot. During the summer months, oh my goodness, it's a hot place. It's in the middle of the desert. So it's very convenient to travel between the various casinos and the various entertainment areas to take this little train. I've taken it, it's quite nice. And you can see, so here are all the big hotels you've heard about. They run all the way down, and they have this monorail which runs right along here, and it's easy, makes it much easier to get to the hotels. If there are lots of people, they will all want to eat. So it's hard to imagine. This city has more than 4,000 restaurants. It's incredible to imagine that many restaurants in one place. And most of them are quite nice. People want to go to Las Vegas. They want to have a holiday. They want to enjoy themselves. They want to eat too much. They want to drink too much. They want to stay up very late at night. One thing you'll notice if you ever visit, you'll soon discover there are no clocks anywhere, no time. You cannot find a clock anywhere. And there are also very few windows, particularly in the casinos. They want you to lose all track of time. They just want you to stay and eat and drink and gamble all night long. All of these places are open 24 hours a day. It's really incredible. And of course, many of these restaurants are called what we call a buffet restaurant. They're open 24 hours a day. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you are hungry for fried chicken, they want you to be able to have it. So many of them are where you take a plate and you serve yourself with as much food as you want from all the different choices. And they're open just constantly. You see people in there at all hours. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning and the buffet restaurant is full of people. And you're saying, how can this possibly be? But it's true. It's unbelievable. There you go. There, Christy. If you like crab legs, you've come to the right place. All the crab legs you can eat. Here's a fancy restaurant, and it does have a view because it's up high and it's in one of these settings overlooking one of the lakes. And you can see it would be a romantic place to have a wonderful dinner overlooking the water and these beautiful scenes. So Las Vegas, as I said, has more hotels than anywhere else in the world, 150,000 hotel rooms. It's like another city of just hotel rooms. Incredible. And here are the top 10. These are the 10 largest hotels in the city of Las Vegas. And you can see these are big places. Now, Christy and Stas on the call will remember that I brought a few students over to the United States to spend the summer with me. And those students that I brought over, we went to Las Vegas and we saw the sights. And yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And the students, I gave them, we stayed for 2 nights. And I gave them, they had their own hotel room and all of that. And I gave them money, and I gave them, at that time, a camera. We didn't have camera phones back then. And a cell phone, a mobile phone. And I told them, okay, have fun, good luck. Udachi Ushashli, just go out and have a good time. But just give me a call every once in a while to let me know that you're alive, that you're okay. And that's what they did. And they went up and down. They went to all of these huge hotels, all these casinos, and they had a great time. And it was really fun to watch them enjoy it.
Is it to come in this restaurants or hotels? Is it free or you have to pay?
Almost all of it is free. Yeah, it's free. Because they do this to attract, it's competition. The hotels are competing with each other. So they keep coming up with more and more amazing things to try to attract more people to their casino. Because if you're at the casino and you're gambling, you're going to lose money. I mean, very few people make money at these casinos. So the longer you stay, the more likely you are going to lose money and they are going to make money. So they try to encourage people to come. The hotel prices are low. They're not really expensive because they want people to stay at their hotel and they want them to, go to their casino. And restaurants are not really expensive for the same reason. They want people to stay at their place. So they have all kinds of shows. Now, some shows you have to pay for, but other ones are free. And again, it's all about trying to keep people at their hotel. They have these enormous arenas where they put on these incredible shows and sporting events and all kinds of things. And again, all of this is competition between each of the hotels. And it's all about gambling. It's all about making money. And who knows how many of these gambling machines, slot machines they have, but there must be 1 million at this in Las Vegas. You see them everywhere you go. Everywhere there are these slot machines. And all day, all night, it doesn't matter, 24 hours a day. You can sit in one of these chairs and people will come and bring you things to drink, things to eat. They want you staying in the chair, putting money into the machine. They want to make it as easy as possible for you. This is an amazing room. This is at a place that's called Caesar's Palace. It's a huge hotel in Las Vegas. And they have a specialty. They specialize in gambling on sports. So you can sit in these chairs here and place bets here at these special terminals and watch sports on these televisions, these big screens from all over the United States and actually all over the world. So you can sit in this huge theater. You know, it's very nice seating. It's very pleasant. Sit here, drink too much, eat too much, and keep placing bets, you know, keep gambling on sporting events. So they have all the results of the sports here. They keep changing those results. They have these enormous screens, and it's all, again, it's all for gambling. Lots of people playing the card games. You know, poker is the big gambling game in Las Vegas, where you're actually gambling against your fellow competitors. You're not gambling against the actual casino itself. So you see lots of card games. You see dice, you know, where you roll these little dice and you try to get certain numbers and people bet on your success. It's crazy. But believe it or not, there are many people who live in Las Vegas and they don't go to the casinos. They just have a life. You know, they have families and they have jobs, you know, working at the school or working at a factory or doing whatever. Las Vegas is a big city now. It's not just about the casinos. There are many people who live in Las Vegas and they don't go to the casinos. They have no interest at all in going to the casinos. They have a life. But as you can see, it's in the desert. So the houses are different. You know, they look different than what you would see in other parts of the United States. You'll see a lot of these tile roofs. You'll see on many of them solar panels, you know, solar electricity panels, because the sun is always out. And they're built very close to each other because most people don't have a large area around their house. It's not a good place for gardens, obviously, because there's not much water. So you tend to just see these houses that are built next to each other. But of course, many people do have swimming pools, which is a very nice thing in Las Vegas. So this is pretty typical of what you would see as you drove around the city when you got away from the areas that have casinos. Yeah, lots of swimming pools. That looks pretty good, actually. That looks pretty nice. And of course, the hotels have swimming pools too, but they have really big ones. And this is one at the Mirage Hotel, which is a famous hotel in Las Vegas. They've tried to create a beach, see, with sand, you know, and they have a machine here. There's a machine in this part that creates waves. And so when you're sitting on the beach, you see these little waves come rolling in onto the beach while you're at the casino. It's really unusual, but this is what they do to try to attract people. You know, there are a lot of people staying at this resort because they like this sort of setting. So here's you can go to the beach in the middle of the desert. And of course, they have lots of things for families now. They've created, instead of just for people who want to gamble, they're now trying to attract families to bring their children. So maybe while mom and dad are gambling, the kids can amuse themselves at the beach, or they can go play games. There's amusement parks, of course, lots of swimming pools. They have lots of sports. Lots of different huge sporting arenas. This is American football, which you've probably heard about. Stas, I know, knows about baseball. This is a big baseball team that's located in Las Vegas. Basketball, you know, these are all big arenas that are now being built in the city of Las Vegas. And ice hockey, of course, we call it ice hockey. And there's a large university that's now located in Las Vegas. Hard to believe, you know, who would go to Las Vegas to study, but sure enough, it's a pretty big university and it's growing all the time. It's called the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, UNLV. And this entire area is the university. It's quite a large university. As you can see, it's not far from the hotels and the casinos. And this is, of course, my favorite thing to do when I'm in Las Vegas. They have great bicycle trails. Hard to believe, but it's true. In that lake that we saw that was created by the dam, this is called Lake Mead. It's a beautiful part of the city. It's way out away from the big hotels, and they have big special roads that are built just for bicycles. We call them bicycle trails. And it's a great place to go bicycle riding. The sun is always out. It's always great scenery. And so there are many, many bicycle trails that go through that part of the city. So yeah, and you can see it's very nice. It's beautiful pavement, and it's just for bicycles, no automobiles. And of course, another big popular sport for people to go to Las Vegas is to play golf. I think there are almost 100 golf courses in Las Vegas. Again, they're built around the hotels, they're built around these resorts, and they want people to come. They want you to golf during the day and go to the casinos at night. And that's what people do. And it's unusual. You see this beautiful green grass and then the desert with these mountains. And you're saying, what? You know, huh? How can this be? Of course, the water is all coming from that huge dam that we looked at earlier. All of that water comes up here to water the grass and make everything look so nice. And now they're building these amusement parks.
Hello.
The hotels themselves actually have amusement parks built around the hotel. It's hard to believe. When you visit it for the first time, you don't know what to say. You just can't believe that they've built all this stuff. And one of the newest amusements is this tall tower. It looks a little bit like the tower in Seattle, but there's a difference. And you can see it's a casino down below. This is a hotel and a casino down here, but they have this big, tall stratosphere tower, they call it. And at the top of it, they have amusement rides. Yeah. Can you believe this? I mean, yeah, it's crazy that, you know, what they do. And I've actually got a little video. Yeah, they've got another one that shoots up this tall tower, you know. There's Stas right there. Hey, Stas, you're looking a little frightened there at the moment. Yeah. And I've got a little video, and we'll watch a little. I'll just sort of show little parts of it. I hope this works. I think it'll work. Yeah. Can everyone see this okay?
We don't have this.
Can you see it?
We can see, but there's no sound.
Yeah, that's okay. No need for sound. Yeah. Yeah, they have the bungee jumping where you jump off the top of the tower. All the way down to the bottom. So Anastasia, does that look like something you would want to try?
Yes, I think why not? I like that kind of activities.
Why not?
Yes, it's nice.
I'll go ahead to another part. Yeah, this one. Can you believe
Oh yeah,
that?
I saw this one.
Yeah, did you see this, Stas?
Yep.
We saw it in some Ukrainian travel shows, as I remember.
Oh, yeah, of course. Right, of course. Yeah. Yeah, they've got that one. And then they've got another one. This is crazy. It's yeah, it's like a roller coaster, but it's very short, but it's out over the city. Yeah, it's amazing. I'll skip ahead and yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness. Boy. I'll skip ahead here and let's see. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This is a pretty good because it shows you an aerial view of the hotels. So that's pretty cool. And then the same rides at night. No way. Yeah. Well, you get the idea, but yeah, pretty crazy. And as I said earlier, and you saw a picture of it earlier, the airport is right next to the casinos. I mean, it's really close. So when you come in for a landing at the airport and you look over and there are the casinos that you want to go to. It's a very short ride. So it makes it very easy for tourists who are arriving to immediately go to the casinos. They don't want you to waste time. They want you to get right to the casino and start gambling. And this is in the airport. You get off of the plane and you walk off of the airplane and there you are. Welcome to Las Vegas. And there are slot machines. The moment you arrive, they want you gambling. They want you spending money. And of course, many people drive there. So they have really big highway system that leads into Las Vegas. These are big highways. And they come from all directions. When you look at a map, you can see that the city has highways coming into the center of it from everywhere. And with the highways and the excellent airport that they've built, this makes it possible for them to bring lots of people into the city every day. Yeah, these are big highway systems. And of course, when you leave Las Vegas, you're out on the highway in the middle of the desert. That's what it looks like. This is what it looks like when I was driving yesterday. I drove through Las Vegas when I was coming here. And this is what it's like. You're just driving through nowhere. Yeah, it's really special. And that's it. What do you think? Who wants to go to Las Vegas now? Me.
Everyone.
So please, any questions or any ideas, any thoughts? Everyone is being so quiet.
Everyone.